I'm Alan Booker, and I am an engineer. More specifically, a regenerative systems engineer is kind of how I think of it these days. A lot of the way that things are designed, the infrastructure of civilization is put together is highly destructive. And so that got me asking a lot of questions about, what are we going to do with that? You can't do that forever. I was here already as the permaculture design certification instructor. Paul had done a survey on Permies about what everybody really wanted to see, and one of the top couple was a spring terrace. If you think about and you look out into a landscape and you got hills and valleys and everything else, then if it rains, the water is either going to go into the ground or it's going to run off over the ground, or most often a combination of both. Some of it's going to sink in, some of it's going to run off. But what most people don't think about is the fact that you can see the shape of the land up top, but if you were to be able to take a pie slice down, there's actually many layers of different kinds of sands and silts and clays and different mixes of those three materials as you go down. And so some of those, like sand, very permeable to water. There are some high clay soils in which they seal pretty well. In other words, you pour water on them and they kind of pile up, right? Just pools up because that clay layer, the water can't get through it. So what it means is if you have a fairly permeable dirt up top, then all that water hitting in rain can actually sink in. If everything is just permeable, it'll go all the way down until it finds what we would call the water table. But imagine if you had a layer of clay that the water couldn't sink down through. And that layer was a little bit like the shape of the hill. In other words, if the hill is coming down like this, imagine if the bedrock or the clay layer was kind of similarly shaped. The rain infiltrates and it goes down until it hits that impermeable layer. Some of it might actually turn and run downhill through all of the little cracks and crevices of that permeable soil layer. You might come to a place that if you dug a hole right here, you'd see all that water that was slowly working its way down the hillside underground, funneling together. You might dig yourself a long trench. You might see that along a whole little seam in there, water's just slowly trickling out. That water has been filtered through all that sand for quite a ways, and so might even be directly potable if you're lucky. What we're trying to do with the spring terrace is find a situation in which we can take an excavator and we can dig down, make a hole in which we can look down and we can see a little seep. And if we can do that and it's actively seeping out, then we have the possibility of putting a little pipe in there. It'll be a solid pipe, but we'll cut little slits in the sides and the top of it, and we'll put it down in there. And then imagine we did that and we wrapped it with gravel. We put a little filter fabric on top of that. And then we can put the dirt back on. The magic would be if that little seep along that whole pipe continues to seep in and it falls into that pipe. Now since that pipe is just slightly tilted, what's it going to do? It's going to go running down the pipe. And then at the end of the pipe, we can actually collect it. Now we have a little artificial spring that we've actually put in. There's one more thing you can do, which is what if all that water isn't soaking in, but is parts of it are running down the surface? So what Sepp Holzer did was he had a situation like that, so he put in a couple of little terraces up so that instead of the hill coming just down like this, he would take and he'd put a little notch in the hillside as a little terrace. So when the water would run down a little bit, it would hit this terrace and come back, and it would have time to sit there and percolate in. So he would increase the amount of water going in. That's the terrace part. We know that he started with a system that eventually, after a little bit of time, worked up to providing 400 gallons of really beautiful water every day. His long pipe, and then he took a smaller little pipe and ran it further downhill so that the whole thing would just feed out by gravity. No pumps. It all worked completely by gravity feed, and then the water would just come out at the end. So that's a spring terrace. The first part of the whole deal will be showing everybody how we're going to do site assessment, going over and looking at different sites and reading the landscape and saying, this might be a potential place where it would work. But really, in order to get a spring terrace to work the way that SEP was doing it, you need certain subsurface features that also are working in your favor. We're looking at this whole like hillside that goes up hundreds of feet, and it's kind of like tapered in to one location, and we're saying all that water is going into that hill. So first thing was like, that's looking really interesting, and the vegetation in the area that we were looking at in the low part of the profile showed us that there was a lot of water going down a ways. We're like, okay, bring the excavator over and let's, pop in a trench and see what happens. And in one of the areas we think is high likelihood, it's moist, but not wet enough, because the silty and sandy clays that we're seeing, and even some gravelly layers, the amount of moisture you have is being held by the surface tension to the particles. In other words, there's no mobile water. So we're kind of just standing around scratching our heads, and we're like, well, this is a fun time to bring Jim over, because he's a dowser, and have him just run a fun little mini dowsing workshop.
The dowsing went good. You either have the talent to do it. I don't firmly believe it works, but it works. I'm not sure how it works, but it works. I just use bent coat hangers or bent brazing rod, and it doesn't matter whether they're in isolators or they're right in my hands. If you have the trick, they'll either cross or fling out when you're looking for water, or pipes, or buried wires.
They went over and dowsed out, and we had a hit where 3 different people hit on one spot. So we grabbed the auger and we just augered down on that spot. And when we did, we pulled out from about 4 feet down, we pulled the auger out, and we had a clay layer, pretty good clay, a little sandier than we wanted, and on top of it, like a gravelly clay layer that looked much more porous, and that was very wet. Maybe we found it, right? Maybe we found it because the dowsers said there's water across this whole little area here, and when we hit their best spot, that's what we found. Dug down on that spot, and it turns out that seam did not go very far, and it was a fairly small seam. Ideally, what you want is like one nice long seam layer that's all expressing water that you can take a pipe in there and extract. And it became pretty clear pretty quickly that we just weren't going to find it. I think the place that we chose to explore was probably the best that's available, and the grasses that were there in this area were indicative of quite a bit of water down there. And there's quite a bit of water, but it's just stuck to the clays and the silts and the sands, and it's not moving. So the underlying concept of the spring terrace is absolutely robust if you have the right conditions. But given the fact that we're in Montana and we have all the crazy geology we do on the site, we were like, oh well. So I think in the end we kind of said we just got to call it and say we're not going to be able to do it on the site.